working families who are raising their kids and
Joe,
caring for
that's
aging loved ones
racist
at the
though. If
same
you're not
time,
gonna allow the kids to,
sometimes separate but
you're
many
gonna
times
trap
together.
a
It's
bright
about creating
young
jobs
Dr.
with
Ben
better
Carson
pay
mind in
and
a
career
stupid
pathways for
school
caregivers, and
system
showing
that
them that
gave up on its children.
dignity and respect that they
They gotta
deserve.
have school
But
choice.
I know it's
But
hard.
school ain't cutting it.
I know it's
A
hard to
poor
think of the
black woman,
future
Asian
when you're
woman, what
just
have
trying
you,
to get through the
Filipino woman,
crisis at hand.
can go
I
to another
know
school district where they'll
that
teach
the
their
case
kid
of
instead of
child care
babysit them.
facilities across the nation is dire. People are looking for help desperately. And they've had to close their doors and lay off staff. And they're not getting the protective equipment they need to reopen. And the virus hotspots where they exist, and they exist all over the nation, they can't reopen at all. And we're in a child care emergency. And it didn't have to be this way. That's why I'm calling on the president to get the facilities and resources and equipment that are needed and get them to them now. Enough. Each day the pandemic death toll grows. Each day, in some
Well, I
states,
gotta think of
more
my
people
model.
test
My
positive than the day
model is
before.
my aunt.
And each day, too many American workers
My
are still
uncle,
out of work and
I
losing
guess,
hope.
committed suicide,
It's been reported
but a
by
year
the president's
somewhere
staff
back, I don't.
that
My
the
mind
president is,
goes,
quote, not really
hung
working
himself in
this
the
female.
garage, and
He doesn't want to be
well, she's a
distracted by it.
widow, and she's on Social
Doesn't
Security.
want to be distracted by it.
So I'm wondering, how do we treat
His
our
own staff
widows?
admits that Donald Trump fails the most
She has to pay
important
for a
test of
home and
being an American
everything.
president. The duty to care for you, for all of us. Now, it's also been reported that he'll block any funding for more testing and tracing in the next COVID relief bill, which is being discussed right now on the floor of the United States Congress. Just as states report record cases and hospitalizations and deaths continue to rise. This man simply doesn't understand.
That's yes, but
He
you
can't
guys
deal
got to
with our
stop
economic crisis without
this
serving and saving and
craziness with
solving
this pandemic.
the public health crisis.
No.
For all his bluster about his expertise on the economy, he's unable to explain how it will actually help working families hit the hardest. You know, he's quit on you, and he's quit on this country. But this election is not just about him. It's about us. It's about you. It's about what we'll do, what a president's supposed to do. The president's supposed to care, to lead, to take responsibility, to never give up. That's what presidents are supposed to do. Over the last 2 weeks, I've shared my agenda for economic recovery. I call it Build Back Better, because we can't just build back to the way things were before. We have to do it better. And the first plank of my Build Back Better plan rejects the defeatist view that automation and globalization mean we can't assure American workers lead to a future made in America. Made in America. The second plank helps us outcompete the rest of the world and tackle climate change. Put millions of Americans to work in good union jobs, modernizing our infrastructure, while building a clean energy future, increasing jobs. Today, I'm outlining the third plank of my Build Back Better program, mobilizing a 21st century care and elderly childhood
Well, I tell
education.
you what, Biden, new renewable energy hasn't proven itself economically without grants, huge grants and this and that from the federal government. It hasn't proved itself cost efficient, I think. I mean, as far as how much it costs, upkeep and what have you, and its lifespan and how many watts comes from it, right? I'm not saying I'm an expert on it, but that's just my thoughts on it. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know.
Millions of working families are faced with enormous financial and personal strains trying to raise their kids and care for their parents or loved ones who are living with disabilities. This is the so-called sandwich generation. Includes everyone from an 18-year-old daughter caring for her mom who suddenly gets sick to a 40-year-old dad raising his child and caring for his own aging parents. The joy and love are always there, but it's hard. I know it's hard. It's really, really hard. Families are squeezed emotionally and financially. They need help, too often they can't afford it. And the professional caregivers out there, the home health care workers, child care workers, are more often women of color and immigrants, are too often underpaid, unseen, and undervalued. The pandemic hits and squeezes and tightens on everybody. Nursing homes have been hit hard. If you're a
I think
frontline
low-wage
worker, you
workers,
struggle
I would have
to
went down
find
the,
safe childcare for your
hour
kids.
subsidy.
Others of you become unexpected 24/7 caregivers, trying to keep your children safe and learning.
And
while you
of
continue to
course,
work remotely from home.
widows
If you had to
and
put your career on
widows,
hold
I would
indefinitely or see
include
your
them.
hours cut or your
Ones
job
that
lost,
not on, I'd target them just on Social Security or not on Social Security and not on retirement.
You know, in the last few months has only underscored how vital it is for families and older Americans to have more home care and community care choices that fit their real needs. You know, we're trapped in a caregiving crisis, within an economic crisis, within a healthcare crisis. You're doing everything you can, but this president is not. If I'm your president, here's what I would do. First, let's start by caring for aging relatives and loved ones with disabilities, helping them live independently. Here's an example. Right now, there are 800,000 people who are eligible for home and community care through Medicaid, who've already signed up for it. But they're waiting for a phone call back. For some, the wait is 5 years.
Wow.
5 years. My plan makes a bold investment so states can clear the waiting list. To make sure we ease the financial burden for more families going forward, we have to make long-term federal investments. We'll have a major
More
innovation
overhead.
fund that allows states to test and expand successful ways to improve home and community care and increase prevention and reduce the cost of hospitalization. Think of expanded vital services like rides to appointments, meals, day programs for seniors, making their homes safer for them. It builds on an innovative and creative provision under the Affordable Care Act, the very program the president ceaselessly is trying to gut. For example, there's a pilot program now in 27 cities to 16 states where a nurse